Shopping, 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 shopping. Yes, I went on a little bit of a shopping spree over these last couple of weeks. Since a few of those concerts that I were at were pretty close to used record stores and whatnot, I decided to hit some of them up beforehand and after. So I'm going to go through some of those finds and let's find out what I got. So first up, we have the Firebird Suite by Tamata. My dad actually had this, and I listened to it a lot growing up. And I love the Firebird Suite. And I love what Tamata has done with the sound. This was one of the first guys to really utilize the Moog, the synthesizers, and all that. And I actually found out that he recently passed away, so having this in my collection is a definite must, and one that you should check out. Speaking of which, I also got his live recording, and a lot of the great sounds on this. It's just a great blend of like classical music with, I guess back in the day, their modern technology. And so what they were able to accomplish was just breathtaking. Next up, we have one of my favorite Return to Forever albums, Hymns of the Seventh Galaxy. These guys are fantastic, and if you love that kind of a jazz infusion or kind of style within progressive rock, then these guys are definitely for you. One of my buddies would always say that these guys saw what progressive rock was trying to do, and as classical jazz musicians, they're like, guys, we got this, don't worry. And so some of the songs on here are just insane in the best sense of the word. So I had to pick it up when I saw it at a used record store. And I'm very glad that I did, because some of the songs on here are it's just to melt for. Speaking of which, I also found a used copy of Rush's Moving Pictures. I don't have a whole lot of Rush. It just wasn't really in my library repertoire growing up. So I got a few of theirs lately. And I figured I needed to have Moving Pictures. It's got some of those standout tracks. I mean, it opens up with Tom Sawyer and has YYZ on it, kind of a hymn to our national airport here. So a great addition, and one that I had to have because it's really just a classic record to have. The next one I got mainly for completion of my collection, and I've been looking for this for quite some time, and now that I have it, I have completed my set of Pink Floyd albums. I finally was able to pick up Pink Floyd Relics. These are those singles or really early Pink Floyd stuff with Syd Barrett that never got released on the two albums with him, The Saucerful of Secrets and Piper at the Gates of Dawn. So it's got such great tracks such as See Emily Play, Arnold Lane, and I think there's also like Bicycle or something on here. Remember the Day is on here. Careful with That Axe Eugene is also on here. So a great addition, and now I am finally completed of all my Pink Floyd albums. And actually, speaking of which, I finally completed my early collection of King Crimson, first album, In the Court of the Crimson King. One of my favorite albums of all time. This guy really started off that movement of progressive rock. It was really hard to find this, too. I don't know what it was. This is the album that most people know of King Crimson. And when I did, I mean, this one is a little bit more of a rougher cut. It doesn't have a gatefold. It's just a single album, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. And I really want to find that re-release that they put out in the early 2000s. So my mind is still looking at this, but this was more of a completionist, and if I do find that re-release, I'll probably just like frame this because it's such a, I know, it's such a classic album that I needed to have in my collection. Next up is a Uriah Heep live album. I've been digging Uriah Heep quite a lot lately. I don't know what it is, I love their really early metal sound, and this live performance has a lot of my favorite songs from them. They've got July Morning. It also has Look at Yourself. The only thing that I'm a little disappointed about is they have Magician's Birthday, but it's very, very cut short. It's just like the middle section of the song. And I wish they had the whole song on there because it's a really great track. The album itself is also not in great condition. Like, if you can see there, it's starting to bend and tear through that. I mean, I could probably fix that up with a little bit of a tape, but I don't really want to destroy the integrity of it. But I mean, I love that gatefold that we have in there. So those are all of the used albums that I picked up. The rest I have are either re-releases or brand new releases. And much in the same vein as the Uriah Heep Live, I found one of my favorite Uriah Heep records, Demons and Wizards. This guy is just an amazing, amazing feat of music. They actually wrote and I think recorded many of the songs while they were out touring with The Magician's Birthday. And some of the songs, the last song itself is just breathtaking. I love how they blended that really heavy stuff with fantasy. I know a lot of bands were doing that back in the day, but these guys were kind of the masters of doing that, so awesome. Next up is a new artist that I've really been digging, and it is the latest album from Ghost. These guys have that same kind of essence that I had from, say, Uriah Heep or Deep Purple, but a lot more dark, and I love that essence that they've got. And so I've really been digging this album as well as their first album, and the more I listen to it, the more I just fall in love with this band. So I'm really looking forward to really getting into the groove of this album. Next up, I got kind of as a treat for myself, because this was kind of one of those albums that I reviewed that basically has the most views I've ever had, and that is Baby Metal's album of Metal Resistance. This guy is just a lot of fun. I keep going back to those last 2 tracks on this album of, where is it? Yeah, Tales of Destiny and the one English version. I don't know what it is. I have a lot of fun. It's not very deep. I mean, you can jump into a lot of these songs and barely get your knees wet, but just a lot of fun. So one that I, again, listen to a lot, and yeah, just put on, have a little bit of fun. It's that J-pop metal scene. Just great stuff. Next up, I got Leprous's The Congregation album. I picked this up at their concert. This was one of my favorite albums from last year. I mean, it really showcases just their essence on this album. So, yeah, picked it up. Very glad that I did, and I've been loving this album. I've actually been revisiting this album all over the weekend, and yeah, I've just been having a blast with it. Last up, this is the final one. I actually ordered this online, and it's a contender for my favorite album of the year so far. And that is Person's Desire Magic's Theater. This album, for some reason, I can't get out of my head. Each track on this album is just so well thought out, and I just can't help but lose myself in some of these songs. One of the main, well, outside of the great music that's found on this, one of the main reasons why I got it is that the LP is blue, and it's a little bit transparent, but for the most part, it's really solid, and it's a pretty heavy album as well, so I know those grooves are cut pretty deep. Yeah, very excited to actually dive into this. I haven't actually had a chance to listen to a lot of those albums that I have down below, only because I've just been so busy. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll actually be able to get into a lot of these albums. But that's about it. Those are all the albums that I picked up over the past, I'd say, about month and a half. What did you guys think? What was your favorite album on there? Let me know by commenting below. And thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.